In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Adobe Illustrator to create a negative space letter logo similar to these. First of all, go to File, New to create a new document. Choose Web Minimum, title it Negative Space Letter Logo, and put your name on it, and then click Create. I'm going to go back to my first one and grab this and copy it so that I can use it to create a new one. There we go. So first of all, I will choose the text tool, and I'll go over here to my default panels and click on Properties. If Properties is not showing, simply go to Windows and on the alphabetical list choose Properties and it will pop open. So under Properties, I'm going to set the size to something large. I'll try 72, and then I will click right here and write YO exclamation point. Now I'll choose a font. So I'll highlight that by clicking and dragging over it, go back to my Properties and pop open the font family selection. And I chose to use Bauhaus 93 for this project. You might not have Bauhaus 93 on your computer. Just choose something similar that is nice and bold and chunky, wide font. Now I will switch to the selection tool, hold down Shift on the keyboard, and click on any of the corner handles to make this a lot larger. The reason I hold down Shift is to keep it from distorting. Right now this is a text object. Next I'm going to convert it into a shape object. So I will go to Type, Create Outlines. There we go. So now that's converted to a shape. Now I'm going to go to Object, Ungroup. So now I can click on these individually and move them. I'm going to click on the O and the exclamation point and then use the arrow keys on my keyboard to move those over maybe something like that. Okay, now I'm going to click the exclamation point and move it over maybe something like that. Alright, so you can see in this example right here that this part of the Y comes over so that you can see the curve of the O. So I'm simply going to click to select the Y, get the direct selection tool, which is the Y arrow, click only this bottom anchor point down here and click it and drag it to where it meets the O. I think I'm actually going to move the O up a few clicks. Something like that. I want to make this circular shape right here. So I'm going to go over to my tool panel and click and hold on the rectangle tool and swap it with the ellipse tool. If you hold down Shift while you click and drag, it will constrain the ellipse tool to a circle instead of an oval. And before you let go of the mouse, if you hold down the space bar, you can actually move that circle around and get it into just the right spot. So that looks pretty good right there. So my color right now is, the fill is set to black. So to change that, I'm going to go to Window, Swatches, and I could just leave it on the default colors, and I think I will. I'll choose maybe this color right here. There we go. Now I will get the selection tool, click on the Y, and click on the O. And what I'm going to do is cut this curve of the O out of the Y. And to do that, I'm going to go to Window, Pathfinder, and choose the second one, which is minus front. And that's what happens. So now the last thing that I need to do is click the Y, hold down Shift, click the exclamation point, and make them all the same color so that they're unified. And that is the first example finished. I'm going to show you another one. Let's go ahead and get Yerba Buena Gardens here. So I'll copy that and paste it into this document. Move it down here. Okay, so this one is not a simple circle. We have this oval with a flattened side here to make the B. So let's go ahead and attempt this one. So with the text tool, okay, so this is Bauhaus 93 set to 72. So I'll just click and put YBG for Yerba Buena Garden. And with the move tool, I will hold down shift and click and drag to make this the size that I want it to be. Next, I will convert it from a type layer into a shape by going to Type, Create Outlines. And then I will ungroup it by going to Object, Ungroup. Now I will click the B with the selection tool, hold down shift, click the G, use the arrow keys on my keyboard, and scoot that over until they're overlapping. Now I'll get the G, scoot it over, maybe something like that. Okay, so this time I'm going to cut out that shape of the B. So I'm going to get the magnifying tool, the zoom tool, and draw a box around that so I can see really clearly what I'm doing. So I'll get the ellipse tool from the toolbox and click and drag out an ellipse. I'll hold down the space bar so that I can move this ellipse around until I get it to the shape that I want it. Alright, that looks pretty good right there. I'm going to make it, drag it a little bit longer. And I'll change the color right now so that I can see the difference. There we go. And with the selection tool, the black arrow, I'll hold down Alt and just click and drag down a copy from that. Now I need to chop off the back part. So I will grab the rectangle tool and simply draw a rectangle over that. Hold down shift, get the selection tool, hold down shift so that both of these are selected, and then with the Pathfinder I will click the second one, which is minus front. Now I'm going to do the same thing to this one down here. So with the rectangle tool, I will draw a box over it, swap to the selection tool, hold down shift, click the oval so that they're both selected, and click the second one, minus front. There we go. All right, so let's see. The next thing that I need to do is cut the B shape out of the G. So let me select the B, hold down G, and click the second button over, which is minus front, and it didn't do what I wanted it to do. And the reason is the order of the letters. So let me undo that, Control Z. And if we look over here in the Layers panel, if your layers aren't showing, go to Window, Layers on this alphabetical list, and this panel will pop open. I'm going to open this submenu right here, and the G has to be underneath the B because it's minus front. So let's try that again. So if I have the B selected, hold down shift, select the G. Now let's try that, minus front. And that is what I wanted it to do. So now I will select the other two letters, hold down shift, and change them all to the same color. Then I can put my text on it, underneath it. I think I'm actually going to move these a little bit closer using the arrow keys. That looks a little better. Then I can get my text and right underneath it, Yerba Buena Gardens. And in the properties, change it to a different font and a different size. switch to the Move tool, drag it down, and highlight it with the Text tool. Change the color of it to something that goes with the text. Okay, so there's two different ways to do this project. If we go back and look at the example, you can see that this San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, or SF-MoMA, is a little bit more complicated too, because it has this little part cut out here where the A and the M overlap, and it also has this this red dot in the middle, and the negative space is cut out of both of those M's. So you choose whatever letters you want that will work for this project, and be creative and have fun. That's it for this video.